They won't know how deep the shit I'm in. They won't know how deep the shit I'm in. Capone, join the show, man. Join the broadcast. They won't know how deep the shit I'm in. It's raw. It's fucking me. It's fucking raw. Swearing all the time. If you want the weather and the traffic, listen to AM radio. It has been a while, man. I've been feeling sorry for myself for a while. I'm back in kapuskasing like an animal. I want to live like an animal from now on. Fuck it. I'm living like an animal as much as I can. All I need is basic shelter. Don't fucking need anything special. When man comes around, that's a Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash. No picks, man. No picks. Just fingers. Watch this. Maybe you guys can catch this. It's called freestyling. See, the key there is that because you're playing a C and an A minor, all the notes in A minor are in the key of C, and vice versa. It's just a different arrangement. I'm loving Johnny Cash. Whoa. Here's one by here we go. I hurt myself today just to see how it would feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole. The old familiar sling. The do 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 do. And I will everything. So what have I become? This foolish you. Anyways. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on not playing with picks at all. That's this new style. That's a 2018 style, second quarter. I'm in contention for the I don't want to go so far as to say simp, because I've had a lot of heroic moments in my last, we'll call it 4 months, 5 months. The biggest one was being there when my daughter had appendicitis, which was a big production. Spending time with my daughter's cat was a lot of fun. I miss him, Mr. Waldo. He's a good cat. He basically opened my door by going up there and playing with the handle until it opened. And then he'd always go to the cupboard where I kept his little treats. And as I pulled them out, he'd be reaching out for them like a human being, man. It was funny as hell. Great little cat. I want to show my face because you know, my guitar is really nice too, but it's not that good. Right? So I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I've got to figure out a way to make money. I've got a bunch of ideas. I want to try to use the resources of the neighborhood, see what kind of activities are going on, make myself available on a daily basis. I'd like to take this show on the road, show you my little village that I live in. It's kind of a charming little place. It's got a very, you know, frontier kind of flavor to it. It's nothing glitzy about it. We don't have a movie theater. We don't have anything. Put it at that. We have a Walmart out in the highway. We have one grocery store. We've got places to get your car fixed. You know, but you know, we have an active community. I think we have an active community. And if you want to learn some guitar, I can teach you guitar. I know all about guitar theory. That's basically the title of my production today. Basically, kind of wasting my life, the life of the big problem, the bigger problem, the life of a bigger problem. Is how do you monetize 40, 50 years of guitar playing? You know, just doing that one thing. Specialization doesn't work for everybody. But I've never been one to have a lot of burning ambition when it comes to, let's say, like my ego is not driven by material things. Maybe I can just keep myself company when I play the guitar. Maybe I can just keep myself company. It's true what they say, that you're never lonely when you got a guitar. That's the thing about a guitar, man. It's like you always have a friend that's close by. You can talk to yourself on the guitar, and all you got to do is make a connection between a fret and a string in such a way without going nuts, right? Because you don't need to go nuts. Your ear can only hear something comfortably at a certain speed and so many changes. It gets bored with really long notes being held, but it likes melody, and it likes like Frère Jacques kind of melodies, right? Children's melodies. You slow them up, you speed them up, you just change things up. Basically, a song is going to have a pattern. and that pattern is going to be in a particular key. And the key you're in basically selects the chords for you. Makes it easy to not have to think too much about it. But it's just a basic framework. All melodies could be jazzed in, and when you listen to jazz, sometimes that's what happens. Do, 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 do. See, I like to change a lot of chords, right? I like to do songs with a lot of chord changes. For example, this one. I'm gonna take a little time to think things over. And I'm jazzing it up, right? I'm gonna read between the lines until I feel when I'm older. In my life, there've been heartaches and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. Travel so far. The face this lonely life. Oh no, no. That brings me to my next subject. The propaganda that is love music or love songs, which is a recent phenomenon when you consider the number of generations that have been exposed to that, right? Versus My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. I mean, now the guy's lying on top of Bonnie in the song, right? You know that. You know that. You know all about that. When's the album coming up? I don't know, man. Maybe something like I could try to fund. I mean, I've got the technology and the people, but I don't want to take advantage of the people and have them own the product. So I need to have it in control. If anybody's going to be in control of the product, I'd like to be the mgtow guys that actually put up the cash to do it. You know, producing credits, man, it's almost like 50% of the gig. Another 50% almost goes to the music, to the singers, the writers of the song. The musicians are incidental in the whole operation, right? Unless they come up with the lyrics themselves or take credit for other people's lyrics with their permission, just to I don't know, get a piece of the pie. Like my friend Lucid gave me a song, and he gave me 50% rights to it. So if I can produce it into a song, he'll own, and it's only for 10 years. So I've got to hustle my ass and get it in the charts in the next 10 years. And that's a good tune. It goes like this. Yesterday morning, I was easing on down the road, looking for satisfaction. Turn my life dreams into gold. Empty pockets, fond memories, burned out rockets, and long wet dreams got me. That's why I'm still searching. That's why I'm still hoping for the day I could live my life my way. I wanna make it day by day. I'm gonna go my own way. Gonna live my life my way. Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah. Gonna go my own way. Easy money. Should've called it a hard but don't tease me, honey, 'cause I'm down on my luck. Times could be better, but I'm not one to complain. I do my part, and I'll do it again. I'll be and hoping for the day bring my life away. Gonna take it day by day. I'm gonna go my own way. I'm gonna take it day by day. Oh yeah, gonna do my own way. Here's the money. Should've called a hard bug. Don't tease me, honey, 'cause I'm down on my luck. Times could be better. Lord, I'm not one to complain. I'll do my part, and I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll hold up both ends. I'll make my amends. I'll talk like a man, and I'll walk like a man. See, that's a good line too. And I'll walk. That line from The Godfather would be a perfect line for a song. You can act like a man. You can act like a man. You can act like a man. You can make yourself a plan. Well, Mama sang bass, Papa sang tenor, me a little brother joined right in there. That's the name of the song from Johnny Cash and the Carter Family. I gotta figure out the words to that one. That one was worth remembering. Take the ribbon from your hair, shake it loose and let it fall, lying soft against your skin, like shadows on the wall. Any man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a man. Exactly. We should do a song like that. Hey, mgtow, what is your computer level skills? Because we could maybe be collaborators on writers, because you got like that attitude that actually could sell stories, and I've got some good stories to tell. You know, wordsmiths working in collaboration, putting together the next Harry Potter for the streets. Do 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 do. Are you familiar with GitHub? GitHub is a version control system, or Git is a version control system, and GitHub is where you keep the code. The code could be anything, could be like a letter that you typed up. But the thing is, the uniqueness of it is that you can collaborate with people. You can say, hey, these are the files. And then you look at the file and say, okay, well, I can change the lyrics here. But every version is saved. So if you, like when I save a version, it's my version of the changes that I made. And if you make a change, it's your version of the changes you made. But we can always revert to other changes because we see the changes that we made. It's like basically it just keeps track of the changes that you make. It's very, very brilliant technology. You know, you would think that it would be very huge and very like heavy as a program, but it's not. You save basically the files once, and the changes that you make are minor usually, or you just add. It doesn't really make a difference if they're minor or major. Well, you can come up with the lyrics, and we'll get somebody to type them in. Because the thing is, we can use this medium too, and go back to it and do edits of it, right? Any man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a man. It's gonna be a hard one to sing as a long one. Any man who doesn't spend time with his family. That's too happy. That's a heck of a line, though. You can act like a man. You can act like a man. Get rid of those tampons and act like a man. We got to say something maybe less vulgar than tampons. Put away those birth control pills and act like a man. Out on the road, I've been down before. I'm driving along on this big only thing. I've been thinking about my home. That life seems so far away, and I feel like it's all been done. 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 Big old jet and line does his head. I've been off the internet for about a week. Not even a week, a little while. I've been preoccupied doing stuff, and I'm still going to be preoccupied doing stuff. But I think I'm going to make time to talk on the internet to get me to be engaged, because either that or I'll just go mad, right? Because I'm in kapuskasing right now. A little bit about kapuskasing. I'll say there's about 9,000 people here, and it's really a wonderful place. Quiet, you don't have to lock your doors, you know, it's that kind of place. And it's in the middle of the bush in Northern Ontario. And it's got a reputation for being a very cold place. But the people are warm. See that little nature that I would do there? I didn't watch your video on weed rolling, but I will. I'd like to be able to do this interaction with a bunch of mgtow people, and if oh, they sell beer here, yeah, but it's expensive to drink in Ontario and Canada because basically they tax booze to fund the social programs. Well, it was nearly summer and we sat on your roof. No, that didn't work. Well, it was nearly summer and we sat on your roof. And we smoked cigarettes and we stared at the moon. And I showed you stars you never could see. It couldn't have been that easy to forget about me. Maybe even the loser get lucky sometimes. Even the loser, they get lucky sometimes. They get lucky sometimes. Down, 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 down. If I played guitar all the time on the internet, which would be the only motivation for even picking up the guitar. Lovey-dovey songs, yeah, you're right. Love songs are fucked up, man. And you look at the grand scheme of music, it's only a certain period of time that fucked up. Like, I bet you there's a correlation between all that love music and the divorce rate, you know? It's not practical to have those kind of sentiments in real life. And, I mean, it goes both ways, right? I mean, not really, but it goes both ways. Because guys use that to seduce women, and women are seduced by it, but it's a lie. But we love the lie. At the end of the day, we love the lie. Every rose has its thorn. Every cowboy sings the same sad song. Mm. Do, do, do. I'm going to move my car to kapuskasing, and then I'm going to start working on construction, and the jobs are going to be short and sweet, and I'll just tally up my hours every year and hopefully get enough to make a claim, put some music together, get some content, reach out to people, maybe get a dog, maybe do something very cottagey industry. Rumors been traveling since I've been out of town, saying that you had another fella coming round. Try to stop. This is a real love song. Rumors been traveling since I've been out of town, saying that you had another fella coming round. Just think how you would feel if you were in my shoes. Understand it's a lonely man who's got these two-time blues. Well, I should put you some whiskey or something for my nerves, 'cause I ain't had the shaking since I first heard the word. I wish I knew the rest of the lyrics, but that'll be one I'm going to learn. If anybody's got requests in the comments below, I want to do requests. This is my plan. I mean, it's a silly plan. It might not work out. I'm going to try to get work this summer. Hopefully I get some union work, a week here, a week there, because sometimes guys just came off a big run and they get a call. They say, I got a 2-week run. And nobody wants to go to work for 2 weeks because it interrupts their unemployment insurance. But if I'm not collecting unemployment insurance, it's not going to interrupt my 2 weeks. And sometimes these 2-week jobs end up being 2 months. So depending on if they like you or not, right? And I mean, it's exhausting work. Most of the time you work 16 hours a day. It's not necessarily that you get paid for 16 hours a day, but by the time you get You leave the house, you go to the pickup spot, they drive you to the job, you do the job, they drive you to the back to town to the pickup spot, you grab your car, you come home. It's a big long day. You come home, you do your laundry, you eat, you basically go to bed, you waste your time on the internet. And this is where you'd have to kind of be disciplined to kind of use your time productively, you know. But once that's done out of the way, that's option one, right? There's also the community college right up the street. Like it's not even a 4-minute walk. So apply for that to take this course in French and that would be the biggest challenge of the whole thing, to become really like professionally a professional business person in French. It's basically it's a little course. But anyways, I could prove myself in that course, and in town here, I would glow because I've got computer skills that people don't expect from me. I've got the talent of listening. Like I've got a very good ear. I got talent of music, explaining things. I can explain music to people in a way that they'll understand it, and with analogies with whatever it is that they already know. You know, I know a lot about electronics. I know a lot about mechanical stuff, properties of materials. I can identify like different trees. I can identify, you know, I've got like a sense of nature. Like I recognize patterns in the forest, like I can identify like tracks of particular animals. I got no light here, so I'm going to try to get some light on the subject. Oh, fuck me. Does that help? That's going to be enough lighting. I don't think it's going to be enough lighting. I think it's going to be fucking even make it even worse. It makes it even worse. I don't think that's going to help. There you go. Eventually, I'll get the hang of all this bullshit, right? I want to get some better gear, but I don't want to overinvest because I have a tendency to overinvest in things that I don't do anything. Okay, getting back to my plan. Okay, so maybe take this course for a year and get OSAP, which is the Ontario Student Assistance Program. I owe them money and I pay them on a regular basis because I like going to school. The last thing I studied was robotics and instrumentation, and I know a lot about a lot of shit. And my buddy Dave and his brother Jacques, like they're a little rough around the edges, but they're like really brilliant. And another guy named Terry and another guy named Savio. Savio's a very like entrepreneurial guy, and this other guy Terry, like there's no end to the utility that he'll provide because he's, you know, we've got a lot of stuff that he could do that he would be very like he would excel at that because I think most of his attribute is the fact that he's worked on a farm before and he's not scared of work. Okay, that's that. Anyways, we was thinking if that's plan one for kapuskasing. If I get that money, I'd invest that money in my house and get boarders in here to cover the extra added expense of doing the renovations. Right? I might get $10,000 just to go to school, pay off the school, but the other money is basically to live. But if I'm already living, right? I'm also going to be doing some artwork, Adobe Illustrator kind of artwork. I also want to learn how to make online forms where people can apply to, I don't know, let's say if I sell something online and people want to put their address in, making labels and that kind of stuff. I want to set it up so that my application form for renting a room here or renting a house would be foolproof, because when you apply for an apartment, they ask you where you live. Well, obviously, where you live has no bearing on where you're moving to. And if you're applying for an apartment here, and you give your address to somewhere else, when you stop paying your rent here, I'll go to where you were before, and all they're going to tell me, hey, you skipped out on the rent. So that really is not a good method. And I also want to figure it out so that when somebody applies to rent my place, he understands that all of the stuff, all of the expenses that it costs me to throw the guy out in the event is on him. And also, as he's filling out the application form, all the content that's going from those details are also going into the forms for the Ontario Landlords and Tenants Act. So when at the end, when he signs off on it, there's basically he signed off on being served, and all I have to do is put in the dates with the fair warnings, right? And I mean, I'm not going to go through that again. Like, I had to serve the guy. I had to drive all the way to the fucking local jail on visiting hours, and then serve him while we were visiting. I mean, I had no ill intent toward the guy. He was in jail. He didn't have any money coming in. What are you going to do? Anyways, maybe I'll turn that into an interesting story, because it is an interesting story. Because I lucked out. Part of the story is this: I lucked out and got a job in Cochrane, which is about 60 miles away, and I was driving every day because I was getting paid to live out allowance. I think it was 100. Let's say we'll call it $100 a day, right? And it was 6 days a week, so you get a $600 just a week just in live out allowance, and 60 kilometers. It cost me about $26 to drive there and back. So the rest, but I mean, I still had to clock in the 3 hours it took me to drive there, because I'm like a really slow driver. Not a slow driver, but I mean, I'm in no rush to get anywhere, right? I like to stop and alongside the road, and there's a lot of like picnic places that they have along the way. Just breaks up the monotony of it all. I like the time by myself. Sometimes the sun's coming up and you can take pictures. Anyways, I don't want to be late, so that's why I don't fucking go to the last minute. I like to be awake. Sometimes I work out with my weights. It depends on a lot of shit, right? Obviously, sometimes I feel like sleeping in too, but it's basically sleep, wake up, go to work your ass off, lose about 10 pounds, go home, try to put it back on, and just repeat this. And it becomes very, very monotonous to do that. But anyways, what they do, if it rains, you get paid 2 hours for showing up. So you drive 100 kilometers, which is 60 miles. You show up for work, you report for work, you sign in. Then they say, well, we can't work in this fucking mud. So they send everybody home, so that everybody gets 2 hours, which works out to $50. So you get $150 just for your day for driving back and forth. But what happened, like, I got all this paperwork done, and it just so happens that this prison is near where I worked. And all the paperwork, and I just filed, and I sent it to a bunch of people. I made every effort to get in contact with people that would also be secondarily responsible for it. But without a lease, nobody's responsible for it. I had to serve the guy just to basically let him know that I'm coming into the house and you're being gone and you owe me money. I never collected on that money. Every time, like, I don't basically hold people to account to the money that they owe me, because it's a stupid thing to do, right? Because then you'd fucking be chasing them all the time. What would be the point of that? It's fucking stupid, right? Somebody asked me to borrow money, fucking say, here, I'll give you $50, but I'm not lending you 500. You know, I'll buy you a case of beer, but I'm not gonna fucking, lend you money to buy a case of beer, and I'm not gonna expect it back. I'm gonna drink 6 of them with you. Like 6 of them, it's half of that case I'm gonna drink with you. I'm exaggerating, but that's not the point. Point is I gotta fucking get my act together and figure out what I'm gonna do. I know too much about too many things, but I don't know them in depth. I know a lot about a little bit about a lot of things. And I want to fix my house. And I've got an idea that might work out, it may not. So those are those constraints, right? Anyways, I don't know how long I've been online here, but I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to get some food in me, because I'm having one of those what are they called? Low blood sugar moments. Yeah, I gotta get some sugar. Okay, take care. Talk to you soon.